Grounded Geek.
All right, hey, how's it going? We're back. World Gone Geek is back. The podcast is Real is back. We're live on Facebook and YouTube right now. This is very exciting. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus, but we are back, and we're going to talk some fun pop culture stuff today, but I can't do that without my partners in crime. Please welcome Utah and Aaliyah to the show. Utah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. Are you okay?
Greetings, program. Sorry, my friend Richard here and I were having a discussion.
Well, welcome back, guys. How you doing?
Doing well.
Doing good.
How are you guys doing?
All right. Good. So we missed you, Utah. We had a game night this week on Thursday.
Got to watch it after the fact. And number one, thank you. Shout out to Chris Fury for having an homage to me as an intro. That was very lovely of him. And second, shout out to Lou for his CeeLo joke that for some reason no one acknowledged. I don't know why you guys didn't acknowledge that.
I know. I think I might have missed it, actually, until you mentioned it in Facebook later. I wasn't sure what you were talking about. I would have to go back and watch it again, and I'm not going to do that. So
that's fair.
But we would love for you to check it out if you want. We do game nights now again on Thursday nights. We're doing it just on YouTube now because we found that Facebook just can't keep up with the audience participation that Jackbox requires. And so we want the audience to have some fun. So we're doing that on Thursday nights on our YouTube channel. Make sure you go over to YouTube. Just Google World Gone Geek. Can't miss us. And then a World Gone Geek on YouTube. So don't Google it, YouTube it. And how do you search on YouTube? Is that a thing? You call it YouTubing it? No. How do you
YouTube
Google it on YouTube? Well,
No.
How are we even supposed to describe this to people? What are you supposed to do on YouTube?
I don't think Google
search.
has become the Kleenex of.
I guess not. But I say Google for search everything,
But then, of course, Google owns YouTube, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
It's like, where's the remote? I don't know. Did you Google the couch over there? I don't know.
Right,
That's what I think that's what we do now.
What are you doing? I'm Googling for the keys.
Yeah. So I think Ellie is like, where are these guys going?
No, it immediately made me think about Moana whenever he was like, I will smite you. Smite you?
Smite you?
Yeah.
Smite?
Yeah.
I don't know how to, I guess you search YouTube for World Gone Geek, you'll find us. And that's what we want you to do. So we do game nights on there, 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Join us, if you will. That would be great.
I try.
And we missed you, but we're glad to have you back here on Sunday. I don't even remember. I don't remember who won. Oh yeah, it was me. Hannah won one, and then I won one. Right? I think I finally won one, so I was very excited about that. Considering the week before,
it was me.
Considering that it was a little flex there. Sorry. Utah won both rounds the last time, so he didn't actually have anything to go. I just didn't send him the link to the game night.
We're not doing it this week. I
wanted a chance to somebody else to win, like me. So that's what happened.
And his daughter. It was like a battle of the family.
I know. Hannah won too. But that was not. Trust me.
Battling us.
That was not me. I would not have had that happen if it was up to me. So that wasn't a nepotism.
That's true.
thing.
It was very much Ford v. Ford, similar to the movie Ford v. Ferrari, but no Ferrari.
Both Fords. Yeah, that wouldn't be as exciting. I don't think Ferrari
doesn't seem, anyways.
All right. Well, so tonight we're going to do some of our typical stuff. We're going to go through the top 5 things we thought were interesting this week. That's not what we call it. We call it This Week in Geek, but it's also the subtitle is Top Things We Thought Were Interesting. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, guys.
Happy Valentine's Day. Happy V-Day for everybody.
That's right. Thank you for saying. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Aaliyah?
Oh, I said I don't have a Valentine's, so that's okay.
That's
Valentine's, right? My family's my Valentine.
There you go. No, I'm just thanking Utah for saying it V-Day this time, because when he came in to chat to talk to me, he did not say it that way, and it was quite uncomfortable.
Yeah. We had a different discussion. Discussion. I said happy V-Day.
Yeah, that was not. We don't want to even go there. I'm glad thanks for sharing what it was when I was just thanking you for not sharing what it was.
That's a different show.
Yeah, totally different show. But no, yeah, it's happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. We love you, audience. So we love you guys for listening. And there's actually 2 people watching on YouTube right now. So, or wherever, maybe Facebook, because tonight we're on both, because the audience interaction on chat and things like that is not as important as it is during the games. But yeah, we want to make sure that we can still interact. It's a little bit slower. And look, Chris Gully is out there saying hey to us.
Hi.
From Facebook. Hello, Chris.
Greetings,
From Facebook.
Chris.
And I wonder if he was in the audience when you thanked him for the CeeLo shout out. I don't know.
I will thank him for the I'll thank
it was Lou it was Lou that said
Lou had
CeeLo. He was the one that actually just kind of gave you the homage. All right, guys.
And I loved it.
Yeah. Couple of housekeeping things I want to make sure that we cover with folks who weren't at game night but who like to listen to the show.
Oh, that's me.
Some of you, there you go. Some of you are out there listening in the early days when we first started this podcast, probably in the first 10 episodes or so. We peppered some bonus episodes in there where we went back and looked at movies that we kind of sort of remembered from our childhood. We wanted to see how they were. And some of this was even before Aaliyah got on the show. So it was us and some guests, and then Aaliyah came along and she watched some with us and added a whole nother element, because now we've got younger eyes to see if these movies are still as good as we remember, or if we are just blinded by nostalgia, which is fine, right? I mean, people can be blinded by nostalgia. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to admit sometimes when I'm like, oh my, this was not as good as I remember. Why did I love this so much? And there's been some that are like that, but we used to do those. People really seem to like them, especially for some reason in India. And so we decided to spin that off into its own show. And so we have done that. I've moved all those bonus episodes into a separate show called We're Going Back. And those exist over there as season 0, we're calling it, because we are going to reboot, which I hate that things get rebooted, but this is different. We're gonna reboot it because it's the same show, but we're adding stuff. Like, it's not, still us. We're not recasting. We're not doing anything, like that kind of reboot. We're taking the original cast and we're freshening it up and making it new for you. In fact, we're adding a narrative element, and it's going to be kind of exciting. So the 3 of us, it turns out, find an old Betamax player in Utah's parents' attic, and find that a tape is there. Yeah, we find that a tape is stuck inside, and we are kind of messing with it, try to get it, and then it starts. And it starts glowing, and lightning flies around everywhere, and there's this whirly, sound that's not a ripoff of Doctor Who at all. And you hear all of this noises and things like that. And then we get thrust back in time and have to watch these movies. But why? And there's a sinister force that's making us do this. And there's a plot and some story and a bad guy and some henchmen. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. You're going to listen to it, so you're not going to see it, but I can't wait. It's going to be so awesome. You guys don't even know what's happening, which is what in fact, you won't. I have a couple of seasons kind of plotted out in a mind, not necessarily all the movies yet that are going to be intertwined, but all of the narrative. The narrative is sort of already kind of there. And I'm planning to only tell you guys, a week, or whatever, an episode at a time. Are we going
to get color-coded pages so you know?
You are, yeah, because we don't want any spoilers. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be so exciting. I'm really excited. I think you guys are going to like it. Again, it's just the same kind of stuff, us chatting about old movies, but bookended with a little bit of an adventure, a little bit of audio drama. It's kind of fun. I think we'll have some fun with it. And we even have a sort of 70s style Land of the Lost feel kind of opening theme song.
Yeah.
And we are going to premiere that again. We premiered it on the game night, but we're going to premiere it now on the show because some people just listen to the show and they don't come to the game night. So we're going to premiere it here right now, if I can find it. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to do that now. So this is the second world premiere of We're Going Back, the theme song. And then this is all, and then I have an announcement after that. So here we go.
There's Jeff, Utah, and Aaliyah, who discovered an old Betamax player. They saw tape stuck inside, decided to give it a try. But what they saw, they couldn't believe with their eyes. When they hit play, things started to get strange. When they saw electric currents in a blue glow, sending them flying through a tunnel. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back. Now we are in an old movie that we have to review. If we want the next adventure, it's what we have to do when we hit play. Don't know where we'll go, but hopefully the next time will send us home. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back. We're going back.
All right. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I love it. It's like,
That was great.
you know, the sound effect and all that. It's cool. You're going to hear that whenever we get zapped into another.
It almost sounds like it's going to break down.
Yeah, right. It's very exciting, but that's going to be kind of the theme of this new show, and we're very excited. And yes, I mean, everything about it is an homage to things that are nostalgic to me. So there's going to be Quantum Leap references, Doctor Who references. There's DeLorean. You know, basically the Betamax players are DeLorean. I mean, it's not. There's no question. We're having fun with some of the tropes and the cliches of movies gone by that we love and shows. A little bit of sliders mixed in there. You know, it's all over the place. But
Oh yeah, I want a portal behind me I can jump in.
right, it's all going to be fun. So this is coming, and the announcement is that as long as I can get Aaliyah and Utah together, probably sometime tomorrow, we are going to be dropping the teaser trailer for the new season of We're Going Back. So that will drop next week sometime. Just keep an eye out. So
That's
if you're not
news to
following us,
me.
if you're not following, yeah, well, that you have to get with me and record it. I have the script. It's almost done, and I want to and I'll get it to you, and then we're gonna record that. I was hoping to do it tonight. It's not gonna work out.
Very cool.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll drop that this week. If you want to know exactly when, here's what you do: follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Twitter is @WorldGoneGeek. Follow us on Instagram either. I don't update Instagram a lot. It's hard. Like, we do audio stuff all the time. So I have to do, like, it's a lot of work to post that kind of stuff on Instagram. So I'm not on there a lot. Like, if we ever get back to the world where we do conventions and things like that, where we can go out and get out into the world, we'll take more pictures and use Instagram more, but that's not. The other way is to go to your podcast player of choice, whether that's Apple Podcasts, whether that's Spotify, whether that's Pocket Casts, and I've got all of them on here, actually. You can see right along the bottom, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Podcasts, and Pocket Casts. All four of those you can find us, as well as pretty much any other podcast listening app that you can find. Search Google in your podcast app. We're Going Back, and you will find it. It's already there. Like I said, you can listen to season 0, which is just the old stuff that was just us talking about movies. Still fun, but it's, you know, it's not the new shiny version.
There's no narrative.
And that way, and then subscribe there on your podcast player, and you will get the newest trailer as soon as it drops, and listen along. So that'll be exciting. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited. All right, cool.
I'm excited. And
I
just
talked
can't
a
hide
lot at the beginning. And we need to get to the next thing, but I do have one more thing that oh my gosh, here we go.
There's one more thing.
One more thing. This is just a quick mention. I do want to mention that it is February, and that means that next month is March. And for me, March is very important because every March there is an event called St. Baldrick's, and it is, in fact, I'm wearing the shirt. If you're listening, you cannot see that. But right now, if you're on YouTube, There it is. I'm wearing the shirt, and this says DFY, because that's how you say things these days. That's what the kids are doing. They're saying DFY. They're dropping letters. Where's the E? I don't know. Why am I talking like this? Who knows? Anyway, I think that was my old man disgruntled with the way kids are these days. That would just be my regular voice, I guess.
I was going to say, that means
that's just me
every day.
No, I think it's very important. St. Baldrick's Foundation is trying to conquer pediatric cancer, and that is an amazing cause. It's one I have been a part of now this is my 10th year. And that means I shave my head every March to raise money for pediatric cancer research. And then last year, as some of you know, we've mentioned on the show before, my daughter, Rachel, was fighting cancer herself. She had Hodgkin's lymphoma. Fought through that, and is doing pretty good right now, actually. She's having some more scans and stuff, but she finished chemo, and so far so good. She's getting married in May. That's very exciting. But yeah,
that's coming up.
And the reason that she, was treated so well, and that there is a treatment for what she's doing, is because of funds raised by St. Baldrick's and other organizations. So if you want to beat cancer, especially cancer that affects children. And if you don't, what's wrong with you? This is a bad thing. Let's stop it, right? stbaldricks.com. I'm actually going to put it up on a banner. I can do that because I'm special. Now, you guys listening at home. No, it's down below. It's going to move. It's going to move. It's going to be right over Aaliyah's face.
Face?
I think it'll move her up. Here it comes. There it is. Yeah, St. Baldrick's. There is the URL that you can follow. It's stbaldricks.org/participants/groundedgeek. That's me. You can go there and donate to the cause, and we would very much appreciate it. I'm trying to raise some money to combat pediatric cancer. So please donate if you can. And I will shave my head on March 13th, which is the day of St. Baldrick's. We are not going to be able to do it live on our show because it's not that time. But I am doing it live with a bunch of other people virtually all around Cleveland who are involved, since we can't do it in a regular environment, which is a bummer.
Right.
I've had the privilege of emceeing that event for all 10 years, and
Rainbow.
Yep, down at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital here in Cleveland, and shaved my head 2 different years. I've had a Cleveland Browns player shave my head. That was kind of fun. I've had one of the news anchors from the news shaved my head. She wasn't the anchor. She was the news person who came out to cover the story. Stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. It's a great event. It's a bummer that it's virtual this year, but we're still going to do it, right? And again, this is my 10th year. So I become a night commander.
Wow.
What?
I am already I don't know why I lifted my shirt. It's not on my shirt. I'm already a knight of the bald table. That's what they do at St. Baldrick's. Knights of the Bald Table. That's what we are. If you
now you're a knight commander of the
at
Bald
7
Table.
years, you become a knight. You're like a squire before that. It's it's all in fun. And 10 years, knight commander. Yeah, I'm very excited. So that's why I wish it wasn't virtual, right? I mean, I would love to celebrate with everybody who's done this with us for the last 10 years, but it is what it is. So please donate if you can. It's great. You can also sign up there and raise money yourself, shave your head. And if you're willing to do it on the show, like shave your head on our show and raise money for St. Baldrick's, contact me. Hit me up in the comments or something. Or email me at jeff@worldgonegeek.com. Maybe we could work something out. That'd be awesome. If you raise some money, we'll put you on the show and let you shave your head right here on the show on a Sunday.
Aaliyah, I think that was a subtle hint.
Yeah. Do you want to shave your head, Aaliyah?
No.
Okay. No, that's all right.
No, I've thought about it, but my hair does not grow back that fast.
No,
I
it's
feel
all
like
good.
I would be bald for 3 years.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have anything. They wouldn't have anything to shave the next year.
Yeah. Well, that's the key, is trying to grow it back, right? And it's starting to get to the point where, like, mine is coming back, but it's coming further back now. So I don't know if that's going to be a
So then
continuing.
you need to start shaving the bottom of your face.
No, see, that's a non-starter. I got to keep this. Although I will say, the very first year of St. Baldrick's that I did it, I did it live in the atrium at University Hospitals, and we were broadcasting, and just random strangers are walking by, or they're watching what's happening, and all this stuff is happening, and one of the doctors there is getting his head shaved with me, and two somebody says, "What about the beard?" Because they were shaving my head, and I'm like, "No, not the beard." No, what about the beard? No. And I was like, and I'm like, I'd have to raise more money for the beard. And 2 people put up $50 more. They raised $100 more to shave my beard. Like at that moment,
how could you say no?
Yeah, so I shaved it. I'm not gonna do. It's not. I'm not doing it again. So
okay, you're not even gonna offer.
No, I mean, I think I think people, the cause is good enough. I don't need to shave my beard for that. Come on, people, you guys. I'll gladly like dye my hair some weird color, you know what I mean, before we shave it, you know what I mean, and like stuff like that.
Just don't spray it with Gorilla Glue, okay?
Yes, let's not do that. Oh my goodness. All right, so I know I had a ton of announcements and I've talked a lot, guys. Before we jump into anything, I want to give you guys a chance. Is there anything that you have been dying to say since we got back, since I hogged the entire conversation at the beginning?
Smorgasbord. That just
you just wanted to say that.
I just wanted to say that. I've been waiting.
It is a fun word.
It is.
Do you have any fun words you want to say, Aaliyah?
No fun words. The only thing that came to my mind was how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck would? I messed it up.
I know. No, it's hard.
I messed it up.
It's hard.
Wow.
You want to try it again? I'll give you another shot.
No.
Okay. She's like, nope, that was it.
I don't know. Yeah, that was it. I feel like I got the one-time wonder, one-hit wonder. There we go. That's it.
All right. Well, then, you know what it's time for?
This Week in Geek.
That's right. We're going to talk about the things, what did I call it earlier? The things in pop culture that we found interesting. I don't remember what the subtitle was.
Not top 5 in pop culture. Smorgasbord.
All right. So, and one of the funny, so we did not prepare very well for tonight.
Hey, it's live.
But you remember the order in which I sent it to you guys in Facebook.
I think.
So I yeah, you might have to scroll back.
Scrolling. Here I am. I'm scrolling. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. We'll just go in that order. That's just, I guess.
See it.
Oh.
You know what? I'll cut it and paste it and put it in the chat. Sorry, everybody. This is you're
behind
seeing,
the scenes.
Yeah, you're seeing behind the curtain. This is how things work. Oh my gosh.
It makes us more authentic. That's okay.
It is very authentic. We did we prepared, we chatted quite a bit about what we were going to talk about, but then we just kind of are running with it here. So that is what we're going to talk about, guys. There it is in the chat. And that means we're going to start off with
what number?
Number 1.
Number 1. Hey, so she's a magical gal in a small town locale. He's a hubby who's part machine. We've got something cooking, and who knew we could? But it's groovy and fun. It's me and it's you. You'll wander the world with a vision of what life could be, but then the years come and teach you. Just you wait and see. Forces may try to pull us apart, but nothing can faze me if you're in my heart. Some days it's all confusion, easy come and easy go, but if it's all an illusion, sit back, enjoy the show. For those of you who don't know, those are just part of the lyrics of each of the first 4 episodes of WandaVision, which is Marvel's latest and greatest TV series on Disney+. And let me tell you, when they said that this was going to be completely different from anything else that Marvel had done in the MCU or on TV, they weren't kidding, because holy cow, I am loving it.
I thought you were going to do at least break out the ukulele for that.
Oh,
for the
see, no, I thought about it, but I didn't have enough time.
Okay. Well, you couldn't like totally get the chords down in the last basically hour and a half since we had this discussion?
Maybe if it wasn't V-Day.
That's true. I guess you're right. You're off the hook. All right, go ahead.
Next time. But yeah, so spoiler alert. I'm just going to point that out.
Yes, spoilers. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, like in the show notes, I'm going to put the time codes. So when this number 1 is all spoilers. So if you haven't seen WandaVision, we're spoiling it. We're going to talk about, we're not going to spoil all, but we're going to tell you a little bit about what's happening in there. And then I will put the time code for when number 2 starts and you can skip it. So stop now and look in the show notes.
Stop now, look in the show notes. Mute now. Come on, why are you still listening? Okay, sorry. Anyway, so the first 4 episodes were all basically parodies and homages to sitcoms of the previous decades. We're talking, the first episode was very much Dick Van Dyke, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second show was much more of Bewitched, and then came, Family Ties, Brady Bunch was also in there, and now the latest one was very much Malcolm in the Middle, which I loved.
Love that one.
Or
So-
any kind of Disney in the 90s, like some of those Disney, almost
Right.
like what's the one with Shia LaBeouf got his start in?
Oh.
It reminded me a lot of that one too. Even Stevens.
Even Steven?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, that was just that same vibe.
Kind of handheld cam, kids talking directly to the screen, all that stuff. I mean, it was really well done. Each of those homages were so well done in the style, practical effects, just like they used to do in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. The wardrobe, the sets, all so very well done. We're talking, I was like swimming in nostalgia, going, oh my gosh, I love all of this. And yet, for some reason, there are lots of people out there who were not buying into this whole sitcom kind of setup. And so a lot of people have been saying that for the first 3 episodes were kind of crappy. And then as soon as the actual MCU kind of stuff that we're familiar with came in episode 4, then they were like, oh, now it's getting really good. To each their own, but I was all in from the very beginning. I loved the concept. They even had ads that were in there that were all very much Easter eggy and kind of harking back and callback with callbacks to other stuff going on. And there's so many questions. I don't even know where to start, where the questions are. Like, who's behind all of this? Who's Agnes? Who the same man and woman are in all of the commercials except for the last one, which was a little creepy with the shark and the kid
Very
on the
strange.
island. What the heck was that?
Yeah.
What's up with Vision? Because, he's kind of dead.
And Pietro.
And Pietro, what the heck? They recast Pietro?
Yeah,
as
that
Darcy
was
said.
so. That was a huge. Okay, we're gonna. Let's circle back to that because that's huge.
Is Tyler Hayward really a bad guy? Because he certainly acted like kind of a bad guy in that last episode. Who's the aerospace engineer? Who's Monica Rambeau's guy who's going to make that thing?
I think getting her a vehicle or something, right, or something like that.
And both Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen have hinted that this cameo in the finale is going to be very Luke Skywalker-like in The Mandalorian. How can you hype it up like that? It better be good.
Yeah.
And then the one question that I want answered right now. So Marvel, Kevin Feige, Mr. Feige, I know you're out there and I know you're watching and listening. When do we get the Agent Wu and Darcy X-Files spinoff show?
Right? Everybody wants that.
I want them to be investigating weird FBI cases because they are awesome.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Aaliyah, what do you think? You've been watching?
I have been. Definitely took me off guard. When I first started watching it, I thought that it was just going to be like a black and white, older sitcom show. That was it. And then like little things started happening that didn't make sense. Like why they couldn't remember anything or why, the older gentleman started choking.
Oh, Mr. Hart, yeah.
Mr. Hart started choking and his wife was just sitting there laughing like,
stop it.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's choking. How can he stop? I don't understand. And then she looks at Vision and she's like, Vision, you got to do something. And they were trying to hide their powers. And then all of a sudden she didn't care about hiding her powers anymore. And then, whenever Vision goes to take a step out of the wall that she created for them. And even like the one thing that I thought was very interesting, and I know that you said we're going to circle back, but when she blasted Pietro, I think that a part of her was like, I know you're not real, because he doesn't remember a lot of things. That's why she was asking him questions, right? She was testing him. But also, like, I don't know. My mind has just been consistently blown throughout this. Every single episode, I'm just asking myself so many different questions. Like, what is going on here?
But in a good way, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely in a good way.
Like you're sucked in. You want to see more. You want the answers.
Yeah. But I do want to know who was behind it. And at first I was like, like I said, I was just thinking that it was this is just a spinoff of Wanda and Vision. This is what their life would have been like if they were together. And then all of these things started happening that just did not make sense. And here we are on episode 6, and my brain is just mush.
Three more episodes to go.
And they've announced that the next 3 episodes are all going to be an hour each at least.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're going to be extended episodes.
Oh, I thought that meant
very
20 minutes.
exciting.
I thought that meant 20 more minutes of credits. No,
I know, right? They're the longest credits I've ever
Yeah.
seen. But that's because
there's so much stuff.
The show is so cinematic. Like, it's like a movie. It's
It
like a
is.
Marvel movie.
Very much is.
Divided into all these like sections. It's really, really amazing what they're doing. And yeah, I want to circle back to the recasting of Pietro, because I found this to be crazy. So we've all kind of been assuming that Pietro is coming back, right? If she brought Vision back, why
can
not
bring her brother
Pietro?
back.
Why didn't
Right.
she? You know, they bring it, and then Monica, you know, brings him up, and they ask about him. I'm like, oh, what? You know, like what's
We saw
happening?
what happened to her.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, something's going to happen. But I'm like, why not get, you know, the guy who played him
Aaron
in
Taylor, what's
Taylor Tom Johnson? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, him, the guy who played
Aaron
him in the
Taylor, Tom
MCU
Johnson,
movies.
something.
Sorry, Tom. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he's never going to be on the show now because I've totally forgotten his name. But I'm like, why not get him? Right.
Right.
And everybody was just really hung up on that rumor. And it was a weird casting, a casting of the Spanish language actor
Oh, that's right. He
who
spilled it.
dubs Quicksilver in the Spanish language versions of the Fox X-Men movies. He accidentally revealed that he had been hired to do some dubbing for this show. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, Evan Peters is coming to be Quicksilver. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's the Fox guy. They're not going to bring him back. How would they explain that? It doesn't make any sense. And, but then at the same time, I'm like, I mean, it would be kind of cool, but how would you explain it? Like, how are you going to do it? And then he shows up in that episode.
That
and
was
I'm just
crazy.
like,
What a crazy ending to that episode.
and then thank Darcy for saying she recast Pietro,
Yeah.
because that's what we're all thinking, right?
Yep.
And so for her to say, it was just kind of, everything is so meta about this show. It's so genius. And I just love that. And the other meta thing that was genius in this last episode is they kept referring to, or Quicksilver kept saying, or at one point says, and I'm going to say sort of a bad word, and I know it's a family show, but it's, you know, so I'm going to do this one time, so we're not going to get an explicit label. But he says, kick ass. And she
Yeah, I
repeats
noticed
it.
that
He
too.
runs away, and she says, kick ass.
that was an awesome callback.
Kick Ass is a movie about a superhero played by the guy who played the other Quicksilver. And I was like,
they were
what is going on?
That's right. Yeah. So Kick-Ass is another universe where ordinary people become superheroes.
Yeah.
And the person that played Quicksilver in the Avengers movies was Kick-Ass, and Evan Peters played his best friend in
Yes.
that movie. So
Yes.
that was an amazing callback. That
Just
had to have been on
genius.
purpose.
Why? Like
to have been on
how?
purpose.
But yes, I love it. Yeah, there's no way that wasn't on purpose. And you got to wonder, since they were in that movie together, if there's a little bit of like, hey, why are you playing me now? I don't get it. Like, this doesn't make. This is not fair. But I don't know. Maybe he's got other stuff going on, maybe, or whatever. But it's all good.
Another Godzilla movie, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, this show's just, and let's not forget, like the jaw dropping moment when we got to finally see from Monica Rambeau's point of view what
the
the
reverse blip.
undusting happened, right? The unblip, or the reverse, they call it the blip. We saw some comical versions of it in Spider-Man Far From Home, where the band comes back and they're like, oh, basketball players running into it. Was funny. In this one, it was like, oh my gosh, like that's
Dramatic.
like, oh yeah, it was like we
Chaos.
haven't seen that, what it was like, and that blew my mind. I was like, this show is now touching on things that we didn't expect to see. And yeah, it's amazing. As far as who's behind it, I mean, I think Wanda is behind it. I think it is her.
It's definitely her, but I feel like there's somebody else that either initiated it or kind of pushed her in that direction. You know what I mean? I feel
Yeah, I'm
like,
not sure.
I
Well,
feel like
Ultron is like the actor that plays Ultron.
James Spader.
Is he supposed to be in this too?
He is.
Well, we heard his voice, right? Or I've heard that we're going to hear his voice. I don't remember which one.
I don't know if you guys have looked up the cast of WandaVision.
Well, you can't just trust the IMDb. That's the thing.
I'm in
Because
the
I can
cast
go
of
in,
WandaVision.
I can go in and put myself in the cast of WandaVision, and until somebody fixes it, it'll stay there. In fact, if you look up all the Avengers movies, I edited all of them.
Yeah, you
Jeffrey
notice that
Ford.
Jeffrey M. Ford? Jeffrey
Yes.
Ford. No, Jeff Ford.
I am Jeffrey M. Ford in IMDb. He is Jeffrey Ford, so it's not really me in there, but You know,
Yeah,
Joss
well-
Whedon does, who, you know, we're not going to name drop because he's not apparently a great guy anymore. But yeah, he name drops me in the director's commentary of the Avengers movies.
Yes, that was my. That was
He
some of my-
mentions my name, Jeff Ford. Like, it's awesome.
That's some of my favorite parts of the Avengers movies is the director's commentary and hearing Jeff's name. It's like, I know that guy.
Yeah, it's not really me, guys. But yeah, I have the same name, and I'm an editor. But I have not edited a blockbuster Marvel film. But man, would I love to? That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That would be-
So WandaVision, yes, is fantastic. It's awesome, and I'm loving it.
I tell you, it certainly sets the bar, right, for all the other Marvel Disney Plus movies coming out. I had, I don't think I had super high expectations. I loved the premise of it, and I absolutely was thinking House of M from the comic books very much in terms of what I heard about the show, and the show is so amazing doing its own thing. But like all the other Disney Plus shows coming out have such a standard to meet now. Like, I want them all to be this good. If they're all half as good as WandaVision, then I think I'm set for watching Disney Plus for however long it is.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that there's only going to be, I think, 1 or 2 weeks between the end of WandaVision and the beginning of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so we don't have to wait too long for some Marvel goodness.
That's the one that I'm really excited about. So
Yeah. And I do want to. I think I know who the cameo is. At the end, I think it's been given away already, like a dozen times, and they're just trying to pretend like it's a secret, but it's not. It's like the worst kept secret in the Marvel universe.
I find it interesting that Paul Bettany many times in interviews has said that he's always wanted to work with this person, this man, and he got his chance for the finale.
Yeah, well, I still think that fits with who I'm about to say, and I think you know who I'm about to say.
Do you think it's the big bald man?
No, wait, who's that?
I was thinking, wow, Patrick Stewart would be awesome.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
Wouldn't that be amazing to have Professor X just kind of show up at the end?
It would be. Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't even. It's funny, I didn't even take it that way because of the X-Men. I think it's and maybe this doesn't count then.
Do you think it's Doctor Strange?
Oh, I think it's Doctor Strange for sure.
Yeah, that's
because I know
one.
that Wanda. For one, he crashed their premiere party and showed up in their Zoom.
Right. That's right.
2, Wanda has already confirmed to be in his movie, which is
coming out
next.
year.
This is supposed to lead directly into it.
Yeah.
So for him to show up is just maybe it
makes
and
sense,
maybe it's
right?
too obvious and therefore isn't the camp. You know what I mean?
But you're right.
Maybe it's
though.
like, well, no, we didn't keep that a secret. That's obvious. So
Right. But you're right.
maybe they mean
fits,
someone else.
It fits because even though Paul Bettany and Benedict Cumberbatch were both Avengers, they never worked together on.
Yeah,
Avengers
they were never together in any scenes as far.
So
I mean,
that
or at
would
least
make
not.
sense.
Yeah. So I still think that works. But man,
That'd be
you
great.
just got me really excited. I peed a little when you said that.
Can you
because
imagine
if Patrick
Stewart shows up? Can you imagine?
Because if there's anyone from the X-Men movies that you want to carry over, it's him,
Patrick Stewart.
right? I mean,
Easily.
Hugh Jackman, obviously, but yeah. Who else can be Professor X? Like, and no, James McAvoy, I love him to death. I think he's a great actor and he's fine as the young Professor X, but he's just not. Patrick Stewart is Professor X.
Yeah, there's a
Do you know
certain,
what I mean?
there's
Like,
a
it
certain
just works so
there's
well.
a certain gravitas and there's just something about him in that role, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I love that idea though, because then it's finally revealed that they're mutants.
Well, I think that might also be part of it, whether it's Patrick Stewart or not. But I think you're right. I think odds are it's got to be Bumber Catch Bembers thing as Doctor Strange because that makes
again,
the most sense.
But they could also be like, well, duh, that wasn't a secret. Like we said, there was going to be a secret cameo, and you all knew about Benedict Cumberbatch. So why would you know what I mean? Like, why would he be the secret cameo? And then boom, Patrick Stewart shows up, and we all like.
Maybe it's Aaron Taylor. What's his name? And he shows up as Kick-Ass.
Yeah, that would be funny. Just totally mix universes. It'll be all over the place.
Or it's Ryan Reynolds. No.
No,
hey, don't even get me started. That would be.
If it was Ryan Reynolds, they would probably take it off of like Disney Plus because
just throw some Deadpool in there all of a sudden.
You wouldn't be able to not curse.
Yeah.
I was shocked when they just said
Yeah, Disney.
were.
I'm surprised Disney's going to take on Deadpool. I really am. At least that they wouldn't PG-13 it, but I'm surprised.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting. But anyway, WandaVision is great. Definitely
What a
check it
great
out.
Show. Oh, such a good show.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 2.
All right. So we are almost there. We've been this thing. Oh my gosh.
What
This
a
thing has
journey.
been hyped for so long. I have complained about the fact that it's existing in the past. Not because of the hashtag. Like Justice League was not a great movie. And then everybody was like, release the Snyder cut, right? Hashtag. And I was like, guys, let it go. And I don't know why it was that way. It was just kind of like, I just, maybe because I thought that's never going to happen. First of all, I mean, directors usually just don't get a chance to fix something that's just terrible.
Unless you're
However,
George Lucas.
unless you're him, you can, and you own entirely everything, then you can do
Right.
whatever you want.
Right.
But but then Zack Snyder's situation was very different than anyone else who had, made a bad movie, right? He didn't actually make the bad movie. He started the bad movie, and then had a, tragedy in his
Tragic,
family and had to leave.
Yep.
And Joss Whedon came along and finished a bad movie. So can Zack take credit for the bad movie? In my opinion, somewhat, yeah. I mean, this was his baby. He wrote it. He filmed a lot of it. Even though Joss finished the end of it, it still looked like Zack's movie, like that kind of dark style. The things that I don't really like about the I love Zack's style in other movies, but not these.
This one, yeah.
It just feels wrong to me. Like Batman vs Superman was bad, so maybe this is bad too. Like, I don't know. I just felt like, are we sure he deserves another chance? Like, I mean, but then the tragic part of it, got to my heart, and I'm like, of course. I mean, if they're willing to cut the money, let's see what he can do, right? I mean, he should at least get a chance to make the movie he wanted to make, even if it's also terrible, right? That was the kind of the way I was approaching it.
Right. And we wouldn't know if it was terrible until he made it.
Right. And so they dumped a ton of money into this. He got to reshoot a bunch of things. So this isn't, and that's the other thing. Like, I want people to go into this with realistic expectations and not say, oh, well, this is the movie that we would have had back then. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's only happening because he got pushed off of it and came back, and they gave him a heck of a lot more money. Do you know what I mean? Like, with the money he had to produce this. No. One, DC would have never been satisfied with a 4-hour movie, and that's what we're getting.
Yep.
Two, they would have never given him all that extra money to do reshoots, right? Now, some of it, yes, because the reshoots were done by Joss, so he would have done his own shoots instead of the one Joss did.
Right.
So that makes sense. But yeah, all that extra money, like, that wouldn't have happened. There's let's get realistic. This is a brand new, like, he's had a lot of time to think about and hear what people didn't like, right?
Right.
And he can fix that. And so that's got me a little bit of excited, right? Because now maybe he's going to do something kind of spectacular. The trailer dropped today. Did you guys have a chance to see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still so dark, but I gotta say,
it's better than I expected.
it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I think the Flash and Cyborg are getting way more to do. We see them alone doing some things,
Right.
and we didn't get much of them in the other movie. They felt like they were just really just kind of shoehorned in there.
Yep.
And so maybe they've got more to do now. Yeah. So Darkseid looks kind of cool. I mean, he's very dark. And
Steppenwolf looks much, much better now than.
Yeah. I still feel like Steppenwolf and Cyborg both look like they belong in a Michael Bay Transformers movie. That's just me.
Yes.
It's way over the top for me.
Yes.
Like, it just feels that's me. It doesn't mean it's bad. Shut up, Siri. For some reason, Siri's listening to our conversation. She interrupts me. I don't know why. You're not part of the show, Siri. You did not sign the waiver. All right. And you guys didn't either. I got to get on that. If this podcast is just me talking to myself and a bunch of blank spaces, it's because I didn't get the waiver signed from these two.
Right.
So I apologize.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Anyway, no, I gotta say I'm a little excited, more excited than I have, like a little bit more each time they reveal stuff. Again, I'm really hung up and that's maybe it's a personal thing. I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to try and enjoy this. Right? Really hung up on how dark it is, but I'm not going to let that stop me from enjoying it. We're going to see
turn
what
the
he's got
brightness
to.
up on your TV. Yeah.
I'm talking about the tone, everything. You know, what I mean?
yeah,
like
yes.
just
It's obviously very much. Yeah, it's definitely a Zack Snyder trailer slash movie.
which it is fine. You know, I'm not going to let that stop me from trying to enjoy it. Let's see what he has to say. What the story
And
is. What do you guys?
how about that cameo at the end of the trailer?
Right. That was. Did you see that, the little sting at the end, Aaliyah?
The Sting?
Yeah, he turns around and says something to Batman. Did you see who that was?
No.
At the very end.
That was,
see, some people. She's one of those that walks
Should
out of
I-
the theater during the credits. I think.
should-
No, I'm not. I just wasn't like.
should we
playing.
say it or should we let you watch
Yeah,
it?
no. I did watch it. I just
Okay.
wasn't like.
Well,
I
so
need to
it's-
watch it like 2 or 3 times.
I got you. Yeah.
It's Jared Leto reprising his role as the Joker.
Yeah,
in
but
a
he doesn't
very-
look-
in a very different form, which I personally like much better.
Yeah, he doesn't look ridiculous like he did
doesn't
in
look
Suicide
like
Squad.
right, exactly.
And that was
his
always my
line.
complaint. Yeah, tell us the line. Tell us what he says.
And so the line is, "We live in a society," and that alone, because we live in a society, is like a mean response to just unfortunate situations, right?
Yeah.
And it's happened. It existed for years, and somebody put the Joker in with it. So the meme of the Joker saying that has existed for years, but the Joker has never said that on screen or in any form. And so, did Zack Snyder do that on purpose?
Probably, yeah. I mean, right? He wants to
mean-
touch on the zeitgeist, what people are talking about and doing, and that whole stuff.
But it was a very well done reveal. I loved it.
Well, I just loved seeing. Going back to the Suicide Squad thing, I actually didn't hate that movie. Everybody
wasn't
tanked it.
horrible.
I thought it was entertaining. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was great, but I was entertained by it. But I actually thought Jared Leto
I thought that was a good
was a
cast.
good actor as the Joker, but I hated the way he looked. Like, that just didn't work for me at all. I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Like, that does not work for me. But when he did the laugh, when he would say things, I'm like, oh, Jared's got he's got the Joker. He's doing it all right. But combined with that club kid, the grill, all the tattoos, some reason it just didn't fit for me. I don't know why. It was just I just didn't like it. So I was like, whatever. And now, no tattoos. He's got almost like the Heath Ledger smeared mouth,
Right, he's got
which is
the black
interesting.
eyes or
Which makes
black
me wonder
eyes.
if Batman punched him in when he had the grill in, and it like that's how he got that's how he got these scars, right?
Oh, right.
And so he removed the grill. He's like, no more, never again, Batman. I'm not doing that. That's when I don't know. That's what I'm guessing. But yeah, he's got long hair.
Grill.
He's got long hair, and he's just a little more jokery and less that weird club kid vibe. And so,
No, you bring up an interesting point, though. I wonder if they're even bother with acknowledging his previous look, or
I don't think they will. I think they're just gonna. It's like, oh, that's the Joker.
it's a Joker.
This is the guy who killed Robin, right? When we see the Robin
Right? The costume and the
costume in there and all that stuff, this is the Joker that did that, and I think that's what we're gonna. I think that's the encounter we're gonna see.
I wonder if that's in real life or if it's in that Batman nightmare.
It looks like the Nightmare, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's the same kind of grainy, sandy brown.
I think he's
color
even
scheme.
wearing the trench coat. I'm not even, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to watch it again.
No, yeah, I think and he's got the goggles. So
That's
but
what
then
I'm-
again,
yep.
the trailer's cut, so maybe it is to make it
Who
think
knows?
that way.
Yeah,
Because the Joker's wearing like a SWAT vest,
yeah, it was weird.
so it doesn't jive with. I don't know.
And he could be talking to Batman, not in the dream, but they cut it with the
Right.
dream.
Yeah,
They do that
so
stuff all the time. I
They
hate
do the
that.
stuff all the time, but it was a very well done reveal.
Yeah, like it.
And I was always curious about Zack Snyder's cut. I always said and always thought that I don't think that he could make something out of what was done in terms of Justice League to make it a great movie. I just don't think the parts were there. But this trailer certainly does pique my interest a bit more because it doesn't look nearly as bad as I thought it would. But I agree, I'm just not a fan of the whole dark, grisly, grim tone of it. I just don't think it works for Justice League.
Yeah,
But
works for
Well,
Batman.
works for Batman, but not
But
for
Wonder
Justice
Woman,
League.
I mean, look at Wonder Woman 84 and the first two Wonder Woman. That Wonder Woman doesn't fit in this world. And Superman, sort of does, just because Zack Snyder made his Superman debut
that's true.
dark.
A little dark, yeah.
But yeah, I still feel like it's a little. Now the evil Superman looks great in that environment.
I like the black suit.
Yeah, really interesting.
I like the fact that they're bringing that in. But yeah, we'll see. 4 hours. Wow.
You ready to watch Justice League for 4 hours, Aaliyah?
Yeah, actually, I am. Like I said, I am gonna have to rewatch this because I did not catch all of this stuff, and also I was just trying to prepare. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. Can I say that I'm like super stoked for it? No, not really. I think that I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. DC has never really been something that I've just have been interested in. Yeah, no, not really.
Sure.
I mean, there's like certain things that I enjoy, but I agree. I don't like the whole dark, grim looking vibe. I just, it works for some characters, like you said, with Batman. But yeah.
And the Flash is a very dark character. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's hilarious.
He's the total opposite.
Yeah. Especially the way they're doing him in these movies, like with Ezra Miller, right? He's totally being a goofball.
He's totally aloof and just being a little kid when he was.
But it felt a little out of place. I gotta admit.
Yeah.
It
did.
But I am curious about this Darkseid. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Darkseid.
Darkseid. Yeah, it's weird. They spelled it weird. That's just DC.
Yeah, just because I would think that it's like.
I'll just play it. I'm with you though, Aaliyah. DC's never been all my favorite. I love Batman, and then that's about it. Yeah, Superman. I'm sort of a fan of because he's Superman. I mean, you can't hate Superman, but at the same time, I'm like, he doesn't have enough vulnerabilities.
He's kind of a boring character.
Yeah, that was my always, but I still like him, right?
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you. Like DC has never really been my wheelhouse anyway. So, but yeah, I'm excited.
I am curious about Darkseid only because like I asked in our chat, are they trying to compete with Thanos? However, I did see that Darkseid was out before Thanos in the comic book realm or something.
He's also not purple, so
Yeah.
I know, but in terms of power wise and movie wise, are they trying to create?
I mean, they are both big,
very similar. They're big,
large,
large, chunky, hunky.
And then like kind of like with Endgame, are they trying to create this, final destination type of thing?
Yeah,
sure. Yep.
The problem is if they didn't earn it.
It's already yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the MCU earned it. That's they got us to that point. This is just like shoving us into Endgame with no context. And it's just like, it's a little much, I think.
Especially with Wonder Woman 84, because if that is the case, then I feel like Wonder Woman 84 has zero context to anything that's going on. I mean,
all I know is if I had that wish stone right now, I would wish that movie had not been made. I would wish, but I would wish for Patty Jenkins to have another shot. Like, I still like Patty Jenkins, but I want her to not make, that movie. I want her to make a better one.
Yeah, just so you know how it should have ended. Made a video about Wonder Woman 84, and it's pretty spot on.
There are a bunch of videos out there. They all call upon the same things because that movie has there's some serious flaws in it. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, that was it. That was all that I was going to say.
All right. Well, cool. So Snyder Cut is coming soon. Check out
in March, right? March 18th or something like that.
Mm-hmm. For 4 hours, clear your schedule.
Yeah. The trailer dropped today. Check it out. And we'll go on.
Number 3.
All right. So there are typical 17-year-old boys, and then there is Mark Grayson, the prodigal son of the world's greatest superhero, Omni-Man. As Mark begins to develop his own powers, he slowly starts to discover that his father's legacy may not be as heroic as it seems. Invincible, Robert Kirkman's 15-year-long comic book series, is finally coming to Amazon Prime. The animated series will release 3-hour-long episodes on March 26th, with episodes airing every Friday. The season finale will air April 30th, and Mark Grayson is played by Stephen Yue, and Nolan Grayson, or Omni-Man, is played by J.K. Simmons. So,
Yeah.
did you guys watch the trailer?
I did.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say, J.K. Simmons is in frigging everything now.
Yeah,
And he and rightfully
which-
so, because
Yes,
he's so
which
good
is not a complaint. I love
he's
him.
so good in everything.
He is everywhere. Even the farmers insurance commercials. Like he's
He makes
little
those
bit trivia.
commercials.
Did you know he's the voice of the Yellow Peanut, Eminem?
really? I did not know that.
That's
yeah,
J.K.
he's the low
Simmons.
one. That's J.K.
Go
Simmons.
listen to him again. He does it like a
It's so
like a dumb
good.
voice, but it's him. Oh my gosh. Go ahead. Yes, I saw it, and I'm excited.
That's because he's so universal. I feel like
He
he could
is.
just play any role and just
He's
knock it
so
out of the
fun.
park.
He's so great in every role that he's done, big or small, really, honestly. And I mean, he is like the J.J. Jonah Jameson, right?
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, there's nobody else that could play him.
I'm so glad the MCU is like, yeah, well, we'll just get
We'll just bring
who's
him
going to play
back.
J. Jonah?
just bring him back.
Obviously, J.K. Simmons. And what's great is he's so beloved now, at least for me. I mean, I just love him as an actor. I love.
Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
you see Juno?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was great.
I
as-
love him in Juno. I love everything about him except the very first role that I ever saw him in, and that was on the HBO series Oz, which is a really
Oh,
dark
yeah.
and disturbing and gritty prison show, and he plays this neo-Nazi, just the worst,
was a-
disgusting human being you can imagine.
he was a
And so I
nasty-
hated him. And then but he's so good, right? As an actor, like even though you hated him, he's just so good. But then I saw him in some other things, and now I just adore him. But it's like but it's like I thought some actors can't get out of that like first role that and I thought he would never be able to like get out of that.
Get
I thought
away-
I was
get out
always
of
going to
Oz.
see Schillinger, I think
neo-Nazi.
his name was.
Yeah,
But no, he's fantastic, and so he is obviously not that guy. And so it's okay. But yeah, boy, he plays to play such an evil guy and then become this like beloved actor that everybody loves and shows up in everything is kind of funny.
Well, I
to
mean,
me.
it's certainly.
But that's not the whole thing about Invincible. Let's go back to that.
No, but anyway. So
did-
the voice cast for this anime, just
Yeah.
the two main Stephen Yeun and J.K. Simmons, I think they're perfect for the roles, and they sound great in the trailer. It's interesting to me that Robert Kirkman, like this was the comic book that Robert Kirkman did not even a year before he started The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And it's taken this long for Invincible to happen. I actually totally this animated series totally blindsided me because I remember Seth Rogen being mentioned as writing or starring in an Invincible live action movie. And this was like 3-4 years ago, but that kind of went nowhere. So I'm wondering if that's still happening because I feel like that's a separate project. But I'm excited for this animated series just because it sounds like a great story and I love the cast. And thank you Amazon Prime Video for dropping 3 episodes in the first night and allowing me, 3 episodes worth of binging versus Disney Plus that's, releasing 1 episode a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but afterwards, then they're gonna release in that 1 episode every.
Yeah, but the
Every
first
Friday.
3 though,
Yeah.
that's okay. I'm
And-
cool with that.
It's an hour long, so you get to spend 3 hours of your life.
It's an hour-long animated series. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
That is cool. I'm going to be honest with you. I've heard of Invincible. I think I even read the first couple way back. Like when it first came out, I just like picked up a couple and was looking at it.
Yeah.
Until today, I am today years old when I found out Robert Kirkman had anything to do with it. I had no idea that this was a Robert Kirkman thing. When you said it came out before Walking Dead or just around Walking Dead.
Yeah.
To me, Robert Kirkman has done nothing but Walking Dead.
Well,
Like I hadn't.
and
Well, I
that's
mean,
fair
because he's been doing it for so long. I mean,
Right.
until it finally ended. That and Outcast. I will say I knew about Outcast. That was a show
okay.
that came
Yeah.
on Cinemax. That was based on some stuff that he did. But I had no idea this was a Robert Kirkman thing until I saw the trailer today, and I'm like, oh. And so actually, it piqued my interest a little more. And yeah, it looks like a kind of a more adult take on the maybe not quite the boys adult.
Oh,
but
yeah, not that far.
but like some of the, I mean, clearly you could see there was some violent things about to occur in the trailer, and they didn't show it, and maybe they will in the show. I have no idea. So it's clearly not a cartoon for kids. But yeah, it looked. I was definitely intrigued by that trailer, and I didn't know it was Stephen Yeun either. And obviously those two got connected through The Walking Dead, and
oh really? Wait, Stephen Yeun, Walking Dead.
so he's obviously nurtured that relationship well, which is good. Yeah, Stephen Yeun's doing a lot of cool stuff. In fact, he's in a movie that might be getting nominated for an Oscar this year. That Minari.
I haven't seen Minari yet, but
that trailer had me just like, I want to see it so bad.
Yeah, absolutely. It
looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
Minari, Minari, about a Korean family that moves to a farm in the Midwest in the 80s, and it's just like their life, and it's just it looks amazing. I think from the trailer, but. Anyway, but he's also the voice in this. And yeah, so I think this looks fun. Have you read any of the comics, Utah?
Like you, I remember reading maybe the first couple, but I never, it never made it into my pull box. So.
It's going to be like a lot of these. When these shows come out, I say, okay. And then I go to like Hoopla or Comixology, because I have a Kindle Unlimited through Amazon.
And review.
If they're in there, then I'll catch up. You know what I mean? But Hoopla Digital, you can sign up. Here's a plug for Hoopla Digital. If you have a library card, you can read comics and graphic novels for free through the app with your library card. It's amazing. So that's how I caught up on Walking Dead. That's how I caught up on.
Oh, I'm so behind on Walking
I just did House of M again because I was watching WandaVision. I wanted to see what the parallels were, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Invincible looks good.
Invincible looks very good. Just something else for me to watch.
Did you have anything else you want to say about it, Leah? I want to make sure before I hit number 4.
Oh no, you guys. You're good. You go ahead.
I didn't want to. I could see her getting, if she started to say something, then I goes, number 4, and it'd be like, hey, wait a minute.
It's like, wow, Leah, your voice dropped.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We are on number 4, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go.
Number 4.
All right. So this one, I already forgot the number. I think it's 9.5 million. No.
94.5 million.
94.5 million. Yes. So 94.5. I missed a number in there.
In
Disney Plus.
months.
Yes. In just over a year, 94.5 million subscribers.
That was, just to point out, that was their 4-year goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's incredible. So Disney Plus just exploding. Obviously the Marvel stuff is helping. Like it was, and I got to admit, there was a lot of buzz on the internet where people were like, this Disney Plus, like, give us something, give us Black Widow. Like we're mad. Like we're nothing, Mulan finally dropped and they're like $20 for this or $30 or whatever it was. And so they're like, and people were like, nope, it's not enough. And then they're like, Hamilton. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, we'll stick around for a little while. And then it's like, no, more Disney, more stuff. Like their old catalog was not satisfying anybody anymore. And as it was in the first, people were just binging like crazy watching the old shows. And then they were caught up, right? Because the pandemic, everybody caught up and they're like, what's next? Now what? WandaVision's not till next year, and all these Marvel things, they're coming this, then, and all, and people were starting to get antsy. I was thinking that we're going to see some drops, not growth, and instead, in the ramp up to WandaVision and releasing some of those trailers, Loki trailer, and then I think announcing all that Star Wars stuff, right? And obviously the Mandalorian having just that amazing finish to the season, really kind of got people like, okay, well, we're going to stick around. Like we're in it for the long haul. And a lot of people jumped on board. Because and I think bringing Boba Fett back, was a big
Brilliant.
help. I think, can we talk about Mandalorian? Let's just talk about that real briefly. How good is that show? It's so good.
Man.
And just speaking of Disney Plus and Mandalorian, we have an actress now who has achieved something that I don't think any other actress has.
Right.
She is now a Disney princess. She is a Star Wars bounty hunter, and she is a Marvel
Agent of
superhero.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
and we're talking about Ming Na, and so how she's got the triple threat right there. Like, I mean, how as,
No one
as
else
an
has
actress,
done it.
Fantastic.
No one
as
else
an
has done
actress,
it.
like how much cooler can that be? I think, like, I would think that would be like, hey, I can retire on this. Like, this is my.
So what is
And
she?
That's like the
Princess,
EGOT,
is
right?
she
Like,
yeah, it's like the EGOT, except for Disney.
if you can't sing, and I don't know, but she can. Can she sing? I don't know.
She sang, yeah.
Okay.
She can sing.
I'm just saying, like, if you're not like a recording artist, you're probably not going to get a Grammy, right?
Correct.
She might for spoken word, audio for audiobooks, because that's a thing. You can win a Grammy for that, by the way.
That's right.
So maybe she could get it for that. But if you can't get an EGOT, be a Disney princess, a Star Wars bounty hunter, and a Marvel superhero. And I mean, that's pop culture trifecta right there.
Trifecta right there. Yeah. And the best part of it is that she's a geek and a nerd at heart. So she knows, she's like every time she's gotten one of these roles, she's been over the moon. Like when she was called to be Fennec Shand, she was bouncing off the wall. You could see it on her Instagram and all her social media. She was just super excited.
Can't even imagine.
And she's 57 years
No,
old.
she's not.
No,
she's
she's
actually
not.
30. She's 32.
No, she's 57
You've
years
seen her picture, right?
Yes,
she's
she's-
clearly in her early 30s.
old. I don't know what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't either. It's weird.
But
It's
holy
maybe
cow.
she's a Disney princess. She is a Star Wars bounty hunter and an MCU superhero
And a
But in
vampire.
real life, yes, she is also like a universal
And
vampire.
immortal.
So
I don't know.
and immortal. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't age at all, and she's great in all of that stuff. So that's really awesome. So that was a little Ming Na diversion there, but Disney Plus we're talking about, and that it is just growing by leaps and bounds. And I wanted to talk about that and lead into just how the streaming world is growing yet again. Not really growing this time. It's just kind of morphing into and expanding a little bit.
Right.
And if you watched the Superb Owl, because I don't want to say certain things we're not allowed to say.
That was a great sports ball exhibition.
Yes, if you watched the Superb Owl with those two teams, Leah's like, what is that? Here, I'm going to type it into the chat. So
I
that
got
you can
it.
see.
I got
You got it. Okay. Yeah, if you watch,
I just didn't understood why you were saying it like that.
I enjoy the Owl every year. It's superb. I watch
That's why
it.
it's called that.
I believe that everyone is a geek about something. If you're wearing and painting your face and wearing jerseys and
colors.
hats, you're cosplaying for your favorite sports team. I'm sorry, that's how it works. Exactly, Aaliyah. Thank you. Yeah, you're following me. So cosplay. Everybody's a geek about something. I happen to be a geek about both, pop culture stuff and sports, and so I really love to watch this. But obviously, we watch it for the commercials. And if you were watching it, there were several different commercials that showed a whole bunch of Paramount stars climbing the Paramount mountain, right? The mountain that shows up at the beginning of the movies. And they were met at the top by a gentleman we spoke about earlier, right?
Sir Patrick Stewart.
That's true. Sir Pat Stew.
Sir Pat Stew.
And CBS All Access is becoming Paramount Plus, which I find hilarious. Disney Plus, Paramount
It's
Plus.
so obvious.
Like, why didn't they all just do Plus?
It's so blatant.
Why isn't HBO Warner Brothers Plus, right? We don't know. Anyway,
HBO Plus. No, HBO had to be different.
that's true.
Well, but watch next year. It'll be Warner Brothers Plus, WB Plus.
Yeah. This is huge, though. This is exciting because literally every Star Trek
Yep.
property
In one
will be
under
on
one umbrella.
will be on this network.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can catch up on all of them, Aaliyah. I know you're anxious to do so.
Right.
Very
Not-
anxious. I'm really
Not
trying to
just the
figure out
TV
how I'm
shows,
going to
but
afford
all of the
them.
movies, all of the good movies, which are the even numbered ones, and all of
Right.
the bad movies, which are all the odd numbered ones.
This is Star Wars all over again.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So, but I think it's going to get. It's getting a lot of other stuff too. Like, I don't know if it's some of the Viacom stuff, but like SpongeBob, I think is going to
All the
be on there.
SpongeBob stuff, yes.
Some of the other things. What were some of the other people that were climbing that mountain?
Stephen Colbert was up there.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert.
Dora the
Nickelodeon,
Explorer.
Comedy
Dora.
Central,
Yeah, Nickelodeon,
BET,
Comedy Central. Yep,
MTV,
Yeah.
Smithsonian Channel.
So Paramount
right.
is it's really going to be huge. I'm watching CBS All Access right now, and I was actually planning to drop it because as soon as we watch the last episode of The Stand, which don't get me started on that. We'll talk about that in another show.
I've heard. Not so good.
It's don't get me started.
Did Stephen King write it?
He wrote a new coda, and that's what I haven't watched yet. The season finale. He wrote that part.
Okay, that explains. Okay,
and the rest of it, they just rushed it.
Another show.
Another show. Not that there isn't some good things in it, but it's just so much potential. Anyway,
so Paramount Plus.
But I was going to drop it because that's all. Star Trek seasons are done. I'll wait until it comes back again. I wanted to see The Stand, so I held on to it, and then I was going to drop it. And then this news comes out.
How much?
And my
is
wife
it?
is like, "You're still dropping it, right?" So we're trying to figure out. We can't have all these streaming services, guys.
I think it starts at like $10 a month.
I think
it starts.
Yes, but it starts. But then, like, this is what I was thinking. I was like, okay, I'm paying for Disney Plus / HBO Max / the ESPN / Netflix.
Right.
For a second, I thought Slash was another streaming channel. I'm like, you really like the Slash streaming channel. Tell me what they show on that one.
So you're paying for Slash 4 times over?
Yes.
What?
And now, when she said the Slash again, I'm like, oh, now I understand.
Right.
Yes.
But I literally, people were watching, my gears turning, like, wait, is there a streaming channel I don't have yet? I need to find out what this is.
But you're right, Aaliyah. It's like, at what point are we paying for each individual streaming service?
At this point, I might as
Too
well
much.
just get cable again.
Right.
Yeah, right?
Right.
It's a lot.
It is. And at least, like, just make them all bundles. If you just make them all, just bundle it up.
Yes. And you're right. You know what? In fact, that's why I have CBS All Access right now, because Apple TV offered me CBS All Access and Showtime together for $10. And I was like,
that's nice. That's a pretty good
now,
bundle.
do I want Showtime? No. But do I take it for free? Yeah. And so in the process, I managed to watch the miniseries The Good Lord Bird, which is phenomenal, by the way. If you haven't seen that, it's based on a book, and it's produced and stars Ethan Hawke, and it's phenomenal. It's just absolutely great. And the book is good too, so read that. But The Good Lord Bird, that's the name of it. But that's all I wanted on Showtime. Then I haven't watched it since then. So they hooked me with their little twofer, and I got one show out of it. But whatever.
Hey.
But I've watched a lot on CBS All Access. But again, once Stand is done, I'm cutting it off. And Aaliyah, you're right. If they bundle stuff, then I might jump on it. Right? I might say, and what you're seeing now is all these cellular companies and other things like teaming up with those to offer them. So Hulu is with T-Mobile and Sprint right now. So if you're a Hulu or if you're a Sprint customer, you get Hulu for free.
What about AT&T?
If you're an AT&T customer, depending on what plan you get HBO Max.
Right. And then
Really?
I think
Which is my
Verizon
situation.
gives
And
Netflix. Is that
and
right?
Verizon's got one. I don't remember if it's Netflix or not.
And Netflix
Yeah.
was the original, right? Netflix was the original.
Hey, you know what? I remember when I first signed up for Netflix, they mailed me DVDs.
I do remember that.
Yep. That was the early days, right?
That was back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
My wife actually brought this up the other day, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is genius! If they could find a way to do this, it would be huge." But they wouldn't be able to. But since everybody is so segmented now, you wouldn't be able to get any content for this. But somebody needs to revive Blockbuster
Oh my gosh.
as a streaming service
A Blockbuster streaming service?
with the same logo, the same design.
A virtual video store?
How many people would be like, "Oh my gosh,
love that.
Blockbuster's back"? You know what I mean? But it's all digital. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and you know what? And have a VR component to it, so I can put.
So
on
you can actually go.
I can put on my VR goggles and stand there like in the old days, and then reach out and flip.
You got to take the movie
boxes.
from behind. You got to get the box from behind.
Right, and just like flip or wait
I
behind
loved
everybody
going to
else.
Blockbuster as a kid.
Right?
Man, that was such a great moment.
And you would even get the VR experience of being able to like have to put your tape into a rewinder.
And a
like,
rewinder,
and
because you have to be kind to be kind.
you have to wait
rewind.
for it, and then you turn it in. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's something more annoying than having to rewind right when you're getting ready to watch a movie.
Yeah. But nobody, kids today, they're like, what's that? What's rewind? I don't understand.
What's Be Kind Rewind?
But but that would be a kind of a unique experience. And then, like if you stop watching, but you don't like virtually turn it back in, they charge you late fees. Because they gotta make their money somehow.
I think I still have my Blockbuster video card somewhere in my.
I do too, somewhere around here. I literally have run across it a couple of times. I can't bear to throw it away.
No,
I have a Hollywood video card somewhere around here too.
Hollywood video. Oh, wow.
And if I looked really, really hard, I bet I could find a West Coast video one because I used to work there. I used to be a manager at one of those, or an assistant manager. So, do you remember West Coast Video?
I do.
Yeah, I know they had them here in Cleveland area. I don't know, or I don't know if they were else. No, Columbus is where I worked at West Coast.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if they had them.
I don't think so. I feel like
across the world.
I think that was just a local Columbus thing.
It can't be West Coast. Why would they call it West Coast and just be in Columbus? And it was definitely more than one. Like there was a franchise.
To sound exotic to us Midwesterners.
I guess that's where the movies get made, right? So let's bring them. They're all getting made out on the West Coast, or at least back then they were. Anyway, so streaming is about to explode. We've got another Plus coming, which is the Paramount. I don't either.
Yeah, I'll admit.
I need to make like a budget sheet.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we subscribe to CBS All Access now for a couple of shows and for Star Trek, and with this Paramount Plus announcement, we might stick around. I mean, it's just, and then there's Peacock, which with the new Law and Order is coming out. We're kind of like, never mind.
Peacock's.
Never mind Cleopatra in Space. I mean,
sure.
I've been waiting for that. Is there a new season coming out?
Yes, that's already out. New season. But it's on Peacock. Yeah. Our good friend Mike Mayhack, who has been a guest on the show, shout out to him, who created Cleopatra in Space. But yeah, that was one of the reasons I got Peacock. But I still have Peacock because I signed up for a year for like $30. Like it was a huge deal they were doing.
That's a great deal.
Before it even launched. It was like $35 and I could get the whole year. And I was like, oh yeah, let me try that. And then when it launched, I was able to watch everything. I still am. And they're getting the Mr. Mercedes show. They have two, which is a Stephen King show.
Yeah. And
they have 2 seasons on there already. It originally ran on the AT&T Audience Network, which you could only get on your AT&T cable.
On Uverse, yeah.
So they're the only ones who could watch it until it came over to or DirecTV, obviously, because I think they own DirecTV. So you could get Audience Network on there as well. But they put the first 2 seasons on Peacock, and I finally got to watch them. And then the 3rd season has already aired on Audience, and I'm like, when can I watch this? And today they dropped a trailer for season 3 on Peacock. So apparently it is coming to Peacock. I was worried that maybe it wouldn't come there, because who knows what's going on with those deals. But yeah, it's coming. And so that's based on the books, the Mr. Mercedes books by Stephen King. And it's actually they mess around with it a lot, but it's pretty faithful to the spirit of the books, which is good.
And I've heard it's actually very good. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. The 2nd season is really out there, but so's the book that it's based on.
I was about to say, but the book is.
Yeah, it's really weird, but like the first book is more of like a hard-boiled detective, not like noir, but like it was more of a detective story than like a weird supernatural thing, which was I thought what he was going for. And then a book came in between. The 2nd book is the 3rd season, it looks like.
Oh, okay, I see.
And then the 3rd book
is
the 2nd season, but it's not going to end the way the 3rd book did because it can't because
they switched.
I don't want to spoil anything, but just the way they mixed anything up. But anyway, the 3rd book I think became the 2nd season, and that 3rd book was just way out there and weird compared to the other 2. It was like, whoa! All of a sudden, we're Stephen King remembered what kind of stories he writes, and he threw the weird stuff in.
Well, and that's probably exactly what happened.
It's probably like, oh wait, I forgot, I'm Stephen King.
That's not what I write usually.
Yeah, no, they're fun. And they take place in Ohio. So how cool is that?
Oh, that's neat.
Yep. So it's fun to hear Stephen King write Ohio stuff and mention Columbus and mention, Shaker and different things. All right.
Number 5.
Number 5. I got nothing here. All I'm going to say is, hey, Hollywood needs material to make movies, and there's a really, really lush area in the world where there are plenty of ideas for movies, and that's called video games.
Yep.
And of course, as we've seen, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Doom. Sometimes the translation doesn't work so well, and then the end product is a little mediocre. But there are 2 projects based on video games, actually 3, that are coming out or being worked on that I am optimistic about because of the people involved behind the scenes and also the casting. The first off, Borderlands, one of my favorite games of all time, was picked up by Lionsgate a couple years ago. There's no release date, but they have announced that Eli Roth, who is a very good horror director, is directing, and there's a script being worked on by the same group that is working on Last of Us, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But they announced some casting. So for those of you who don't know about Borderlands, it's basically a group of people, treasure hunters, really, basically, who are on planet called Pandora, right? It's the planet. And they're there to basically look for loot. And there is an overarching story about trying to take down a big bad meanie who's kind of corporate. And so, and there's a little robot that helps you along the way. Very quippy robot. So
and just announced who's playing him. Is that where you're getting to?
Yes. And so
I'm excited.
Claptrap is the name of the quippy robot. And they announced that Jack Black is cast as Claptrap, which I think is
that
perfect.
Works.
I think that works very well. Some of the other people that have been cast, Kate Blanchett is cast as Lilith, which I think also is very good casting.
Yes.
Kevin Hart is going to be playing Roland. He's the short guy from the first game. There are 3 games in Borderlands. And then Jamie Lee Curtis was also just announced as Dr. Tannis. So far, I think the casting is very good. And the people that are writing it, one of them is Craig Mazin, who wrote Chernobyl, amongst other things. And so I think the story is in good hands. And it sounds like, based on everything that they've said so far, that it's going to be based on the story of the very first game, which leaves open possible sequels because there were 3.5 Borderlands video games.
The pre-sequel or whatever they call it.
There's a pre-sequel and then there's 3. So, but I'm excited for that because Borderlands is kind of a very irreverent style of game.
I love the art style in it, and this is not going to be that. So that'll be interesting.
So that was my next thing was I'm curious to see how they translate the video game because it's a very, very particular animation style to the game, kind of cell-colored animation style to the game. So I don't know how they're going to translate that. I'm assuming that they're not because I feel like if they were going to, then they might as well just make an animated movie.
Right. But you can get the tone and the kind of, frenetic style. And I totally see Eli Roth doing that. I think he's totally going to kind of emulate that game style.
I think he's a very good choice for a director for something like this. You're right. I think that's right within his wheelhouse. I think he can easily do that. So I'm excited for Borderlands. The other game, the other movie / game is The Last of Us, which was a PlayStation exclusive game about a dystopian future where a virus has taken over the world that creates zombies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And
kind of like fungal zombies, right?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the.
I didn't play it all the way through.
It's not
so
like
the
Walking Dead zombies. It's very much some kind of spore that you inhale, and then a fungus kind of grows and takes over your brain. So it's different type of zombies, but it's still, I guess, technically zombies.
Sure.
And they're making a movie out of it, and they announced the 2 main roles, because The Last of Us is basically the story about 2 people, an older gentleman named Joel and a young girl named Ellie, who is immune to the spores. And so she's very important for the human race to be able to fight off this spore viral spread. And so Joel is basically asked
I hit my microphone arm there. Sorry.
What was that?
I warned you that could happen. I told you this is a new thing that I do. Is I hit my
Every so often. Oh my gosh, it's like the Academy Awards. He's playing me off. But basically, Joel is asked to escort Ellie basically across country to a medical facility so they can figure out how they can use her immunity to save the human race. So Joel is being played by Pedro Pascal, and Ellie is being played by
I
Bella
see that.
Yeah, I think that works. I think he can do it. And then,
Sorry, I interrupted you. Who was the?
Ellie's being played by Bella Ramsey, who played Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones.
Oh, very good.
So I think the casting is really good. I think
Yeah, that sounds good.
that's a good start.
Well, did I read that Mahershala Ali is being considered for a part in that too?
Yes, he
Do you know if that's a role? I haven't played through it, so I don't know who that is. I mean, I know who Mahershala Ali is. I love him to death. I think he's a fantastic actor.
He's Blade. That's who
yes. And what? Oh gosh, what's the character he played on Luke Cage? Because man, he was so good on that show.
Oh yeah, the gangster or whatever. The club owner.
Why am I totally blanking now? Dang it!
I don't remember, but yes, he
Makes me so mad.
He
Go
was
ahead.
Excellent in that role too.
Anyway, and in True Detective. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep going about all the things he's great in.
He's so, well, I mean, he won an Oscar. So
yeah, he did. He's good.
So it's interesting to me.
John McIver.
No, wait, that was on True Detective.
No,
was that True
Luke Cage.
Detective?
And Luke Cage, no, he played someone else.
No, he played.
He had a nickname.
Oh, Cottonmouth. My bad.
Cottonmouth. That was it. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Cottonmouth. Yes,
He was so good. He was so good in Cottonmouth, and then
as Cottonmouth, not in Cottonmouth.
Oh, sorry, as Cottonmouth, and then to find out that he really wasn't nearly as bad.
Yeah.
I mean, anyways, that was such a great show.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog and Sony are very involved in the production of this movie. In fact, this is going to be the first. Actually, it's a TV series. It's a series that's going to be streaming. It's going to be the first production from PlayStation Productions, which makes me wonder if Sony has a bunch of more stuff, coming up. Because
maybe some Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, the Sony has got plenty of video game
God of
franchises
War
and IP that they could make into I mean, The Witcher was so great. I feel like God of War is begging for a TV show of some sort.
Yeah.
I think that would work really well.
All I hear is just take my money. Just take.
Yeah,
it kind of basically is that.
They're already making
the screen here. So.
They're already making. What's the one with Nathan?
Nathan Drake.
Nathan Drake. What's
Uncharted.
Uncharted. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're making that into a movie.
Yeah, Tom Holland and.
Yeah. That seems weird though. He should be older.
I feel like Tom Holland is too young.
We all know. We all know
Nathan
that it
Fillion.
should be Nathan Fillion playing Nathan Drake, right? Like that's just something we all know in our hearts.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Nathan Fillion even made a cute little short film of him basically.
I haven't seen
playing
that,
Nathan
but
it actually is pretty good.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But there's so many good video games that that have, and you didn't mention Assassin's Creed. That was another of the movies that came out that was not that great.
Not that great.
But that could make a good series if done right, that kind of stuff. But and there's one other the other video game movie that's coming out next is Mortal Kombat. It's going to be on HBO Max, right?
That's right. Yes, a reboot.
Yeah. So that they're going to take that one a little more in the direction that the game
video game.
that the game actually
a little gorier
calls for, which I don't prefer, obviously myself.
Maybe
but
some fatalities.
I get it. Yeah, I hope there's some friendships and some babalities.
Some babalities and friendtalities.
No, isn't it just friendship?
Was it just friendship?
I don't remember.
I just want the guy to come up in the corner saying "Toasty."
Yeah. That was actually one of the
game
developers,
developers,
right? Yeah. So that's kind of cool. That's coming to HBO. But yeah, a lot of video game movies coming out.
Well, I mean, video games, especially in the past 5-10 years, I mean, they've become so great story-wise, right? I mean, the writing in a lot of these
they're
games
almost
is
better than
outstanding.
movies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just think about Red Dead Redemption, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. If you told me they were making a Red Dead Redemption movie, I almost said I wouldn't go see it, but then I stopped myself because of course I would see that.
Of course you'll go see it.
I just love Westerns, but I mean that's my favorite game of all time. I mean,
Right.
I got sucked into that story. Ghost of Tsushima, like that
another
story.
excellent
I mean, there were so many gut punches in that. I mean, like if I had
would be
seen
an
that in the
amazing
theaters,
movie.
I would have been
Yeah.
in tears. Like it's,
Yeah.
you just don't do that. Video games are becoming so much more, and they're more immersive because you're trying to like make choices and do stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, as an art form, like they're their own way of doing movies, and so the movies are really just trying to find ways to make them less interactive. And so,
which kind of defeats, which
that's
feels like
kind of
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, a lot of those stories, like some people are never going to play Red Dead Redemption 2, but
true.
they'd go see the movie, right?
Yep,
And so
yep,
I understand why they're doing that. I think it's a great idea. It's smart to mine these properties, for those purposes. But at least do them some justice, because some of these other ones in the past have been a little. Let's go back and look at Double Dragon and the Super Mario Brothers and
the
some
Super
of those.
Mario Brothers.
Yeah, have you seen that movie, Aaliyah?
I know I've seen some of it. I just
I feel like it needs to be seen by Aaliyah.
Yeah, well, who knows? It may show up and we're going back.
I wonder.
I don't know. I think I
wonder
might
if that's.
ban it.
Oh,
I'm not going to say if it is or not.
some
all
of
right.
Bob Hoskins' worst work.
It certainly is. And he's a phenomenal actor.
Yep.
All right. Well, you know what? That's going to have to do it for our show tonight. We've come up on time. We want to thank you guys for listening and being a part of it. We appreciate you joining us live. Those of you who've been out in the audience, it's great that you've been there. We got people kind of chatting in there. I see a couple of comments I hadn't had a chance to look at because we've been so engaged in the conversation. But we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you listening also on your podcast app of choice, however you're listening and however you're taking in our show. We appreciate it. You're the reason that we are doing it, because we hope that you enjoy having these conversations, and we want you to talk back with us. So join us on Facebook at World Gun Geek, on Twitter as well at World Gun Geek. We actually have a Facebook group now that you can join where it's even more interactive. We haven't been a lot of interaction yet because I just started it and there's not very many people in there, but as people get in, we can really start to have some cool geek conversations in there. And that kind of stuff. And then go to our website, worldgungeek.com, and you can also kind of find out more about what we have coming up, because we've got lots of new things. Obviously, we're going back. I have a new solo podcast that I'm launching soon. You all hear about that in the coming weeks. It's actually a podcast about podcasting, which is going to be interesting.
So meta.
It very is. It very is. It very is.
That needs to be the tagline.
That's right. There's a link at the bottom of the screen going by right now where you can get some merch, some World Gun Geek logo stuff on it. Go and check that out. That's a way that you can help support us and help us, pay the bills here, and so we can keep doing this kind of stuff. Other than that, Utah, Aaliyah, thank you so much for your time, for being here.
A pleasure it is, as always.
It's always fun to hang out with you guys, and we're going to talk soon because we got to record that teaser. I just told everybody that we have a teaser next week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right.
I just committed to it.
I can't wait to see it.
I have to do it. I know. So we'll be talking soon. Make sure you subscribe. That's how you're going to find that teaser. You'll be one of the first ones to hear it if you subscribe. So make sure you do that on your podcast app of choice.
Subscribe.
Thanks so much for joining us. I didn't play the theme music during any of this.
Subscribe.
So I'll play us out now. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Please.
Let's just dance
subscribe.
to the end.
Subscribe.
How long is this?
Subscribe.
We're gonna have to get a ukulele version of this theme song, Utah.
I'll have to find the chords. You know what? I'll just play it in my head.